Hello there and welcome to the Windkiller channel once again. I've been AFK for a while, but I think it's time for another battle report. Well, let's get right into it here. As mentioned in my previous video, I will be doing the battle report on this time's 20 editions of the Cripple online league tournament. And this will be my second game versus my last time opponent, versus Orsa06, which I played last tournament as well, and Cripple 19, the 19th version of the Cripple, where he beated me pretty heavily. I think he won, what was it, 19-1 or something similar to 17-3 or something like that. With not the exact same list, but a similar list to this one here. So before I jump into the battle report, I think I will just go through his list. He plays the Cultist. Maybe some people don't know too much of them. Honestly, I don't know too much of them myself. But there's this cult leader here, the general, who's sort of a mage. That's all I really understood of him. And then he has this demon symbiote, which is a decent fighter, shield breaker, 5 attack, and then chilling yours, which I forgot what do, and Essence of Mithril, and a level 2 mage. I think he had like 5 attack, strength 5, AP 5 or 6, right, with the shield breaker. So and a wizard adapt, and he had a divination. Overall a really good character for 450 points, to be honest. And then he had these 4 cultist guys here, 3 of them with spears and kinslayers, and a vessel conduit, which allow him to summon from within 12 inches of these guys here. And then he has 10 imps, 20 possession, and with the Cetonia scales with spears, and 10 possessed with red haze, paired weapons, kinslayer, ritual altar, and a grand council. 2 times blazing glory, fly, and they have impact hits, 1d3 impact hits, and 7 eidolons, and 5 bloat flies. So what I thought when I first saw this list here, what I thought after thinking a little bit about this list here, was that he actually don't have too many units at the start of the game, right? He only has 4 units here, plus the 2 times possessed and a ritual altar, right? So if I get the first turn and I advance 8, I should be able to get into some sort of decent position, I thought. At least a very position where, because there's nothing I need to fear, right? With my army versus all these units here. Particularly my my 9 Raptor Riders here with the Tegorilla. I think this unit here can just march over and charge whatever unit it sees fit. Probably not the pussy. Probably not the 20 possessed with the spears and the demon symbiote. But the idea was that he needed some time to stabilize this army here, right? So my idea was, before going into the game, was just charge just charge, and try and when we reach turn 2 or 3, as soon as these guys hit the rift or hit the map, then I would try and shoot at least 1 or 2 wounds of them. And the idea how to do it was to hide my my gorilla skinks and wait for their arrival. Wait for this blazing glory to arrive, and then I would try and attack them with my skink gorillas and my mage. And if my Taurosaurs are not in combat, then they will try and shoot these guys as well. That was the plan. And then I will try and flee as much as possible from these guys here until, at least find a way to deal with these guys late as possible, and then try and take out all these things here before anything real goes down. And as you will see actually in game, I think my plan actually succeeds decently well. Well, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, the plan at least was decently. So just a quick go. You can, if you see my previous video here, it's called Cripple versus vampires, I think. You can see my list, but just to go through quickly: 2 Taurosaurs, Skink Gorillas without scouts, 9 Raptor Riders with a Tego Rider in there, 22 Tego Warriors, 4 Caimans, 30 Skink Warriors, 28 Tego Guards with great weapon. And one thing I actually didn't think about before going into this matchup was how strong these guys were. The Tego Guards here with the great weapon. I understand the people have been talking about that they might be a bit too strong at the moment, and after they got the upgrade with the loot stone, I'm inclined to agree that they are very strong against certain opponents, right? Because I mean, if this unit here against, let's just, if you look at it against the let's say 20 possessed, I get the 20 possessed is only 400 points, but I mean I hit them on 2s and I wound on 2s. And they get -1 to wound. I mean, this is a really rough matchup for this unit here. And I mean, like, you could think of dwarves as well, maybe, or something similar. Like there's plenty of units where you can think the Tego Warriors maybe in a bit too good of a shape. But anyway, that's the list. So let's jump into it. Here. So we're playing Dawn Assault and Capture the Flags. So a few words about that. I would say the Dawn Assault was definitely to my advantage, because it would make sure, like you could imagine, if you played like Refuse Flank or some, if you played Refuse Flank, right, he could put his models much more defensive. Now this one here, he's much more forced to put him much more central. We're gonna be facing each other much more straight up, which I think was a good matchup for me here. A good setup for me here. Yeah, well, let's jump into and see how it goes. So we're just gonna jump straight into the battle report here. After deployment, he wins the side, and so he picks the top side, and I pick the bottom side. And I think the Refuse Flank, Dawn Assault, they went something like, I think he was limited to like this, and I was limited to like this. So after he picked side, I just decided to drop everything after drop to for first turn, because I mean, like, the idea was just I put everything, because he couldn't place anything here, so I didn't have to use the space here, so I just had to put all my warriors here and then just march forward here according to my plan, right, to fight him as early as possible. And then he placed these 3 units here, preparing for the demonic summoning. I mean, like, probably the idea here is to move forward here with this cultist unit here and be able to summon something on the flank. Same with here, be able to summon something on this flank here. So my first turn here, I just kinda, as you can see here, I went with magic. If you just go through magic, I think I went with the heretic spells, and then I went with a bunch of missiles. No, not with, I went with heretic spells, iron, word of iron, and my heretic spell, word of iron, and Quicksilver, the one that gives D3 wounds. And what was the last one? I think it was one more magic missile, molten copper maybe. I didn't use it because my magic wasn't that good in this matchup here. And then with the Forbidden Mastery, I went with the Cascading Fire and Pyroclastic Mansion. So the idea was it The idea behind me picking a lot of magic missiles was that my turn, I get the first turn, and then I will shoot this unit here or this unit, whatever. I'll shoot one of the cultist units and try and force a panic check, and hopefully open up, if not just open up a flank, but make him the ability where he can summon his unit to limit the space where he can summon his units. That was the idea with it. I kind of crumbled. So this is my first turn after movement. As I mentioned, I just move up a lot. I even put these guys in danger. I accept I have to do some dangerous terrain here because I threaten this one, this unit here, and this unit here as well actually. And I think if I just get to charge one of these guys here, the game is gonna be very good for me. That's at least the idea. So I decide to prepare for the next turn charge. I decide to cast the healing water on them, so they get some ward save against the dangerous drain test when they run over here. And I think I do some magic missiles. Yeah, because I already taken a wound on my Anorak Archmage here, and I think I do one wound on them, and I do one wound on myself, and I lose maybe I use 3 geysers to cast a pyroclastic flow. So I use 3 dices to deal 1 wound and give myself 1 wound. Well, not a beautiful magic trick. Yeah, and then I shoot with my Taurosaurs here with the giant bows here, and I think this is his turn here. And I think he started with 28 cultists on the right side here, and he's down to 23. So I killed like 5 or 6. So his turn here. He decides to move up. He decides to go aggressive in a sense, right? He decides to move up on me, which surprised me a little bit, because I was sort of like agreeing that we should fight right away, and he agreed. He agreed to that. Looking back at it, the cultists are actually stronger than I think. Or at least they were stronger than I gave them credit for, because they have spears, and then that's pretty good against my Raptorites, and I didn't think about that. So when I'm gonna lose some guys to the dangerous terrain test when I go over the ruin here, and then I'm gonna be charging into spears with agility 5. So my Raptorites, yeah. Anyway, his turn here, his magic phase here, he crumble a lot of magic. He doesn't get any good magic through, but he do summon his Edion Friars here, the shooters, in between his 2 cultist spirit here, and he makes a wall of the imps here for me, so I won't be able to advance here. Which I was kind of happy about actually, because I was thinking like my Temple Guards here, which can usually only move 8, right? They would charge here, and then they would get like a speed bump into something, so they could reach something like here, or if lucky, right? I think I needed an 8 or 9 to reach these guys here. So if I was lucky, I could actually reach these guys here as well, or else I would just be standing my big block that he can't do anything against, right in the middle of the battlefield. I was pretty happy about that, and then I was thinking about should my Taurosaur charge or should they not charge, and I sort of agreed that I'm pretty sure I would wipe the imps 1 round combat, and I would overrun, and I would be standing here in the middle, and then I prepare some counter charges with my Taurosaurs here, so whatever happened, they could counter charge something, and then they could also get to shoot this turn here. So I was pretty happy about this one. The situation right now, I'm pretty happy about. But let's see. Let's see if I keep being happy. Yeah, he shoots a little bit with his Edions, and they hit my riders here, and I failed some saves, and he killed some of them, and that's about it. That's what happens in his turn 1. So if we go to my turn 2, yeah, he left me with an interesting option here actually. with the summon here. So my veteran, he could charge out here, a single, and probably kill this guy and run down to the ritual guy here and hit it, which I thought was an interesting highway he could take, and with not a lot of possibility of failure. I mean, he would probably succeed in doing this, but what I concluded was here that even if I do kill these two units, I don't think this is where the game is gonna be important. And this guy, if he has these units, they are here or they're not here, not much gonna change. That was the idea. None of these two units don't propose a particular big threat for me. It's these big units here with a lot of ranks, and then his summons unit. When he summons something big, then he goes like this, and the flank unit, and then he have enough ranks to break my steadfast, and he wins the combat because I'm weak, and then he will run me down. So that was what I feared. So what I wanted to do first was to charge these units here. So I decided against charging up with my veteran solo here. Let's see how it goes here. Yeah, I go bananas here. I decided to charge my my skink warriors into his cultist here, which is behind the fence, so hitting on 5s. And I charge in with my Raptoritis on his another cultist unit here, and my Techo guard charges his imp here. And I think I actually also attempt it's a long charge on the I can't remember quite, or maybe I just move forward 8. Yeah, I don't try anything here. Then I move forward with my skink gorillas here on the flank here. Like as I mentioned in the beginning, that I wanted to save this guy here to try and stop his summoning guys. But as I went for the first turn, and I placed them on the right side here, and then I vanguarded on the right side here and advanced here. As you can see here, the game is probably not gonna be very centered on the right side regarding summoners. So he's probably gonna be summoning something in this area here, right? So my skink did not fulfill anything what I planned them to do, but they got a new job, and that was to take out this unit of 10 possession which had paired weapons. So they threw a bunch of auto attacks in combat, right? But not particularly. And they had the red haze, so the strength 5 for 4 attacks each, I think. So they're nasty in combat, right? So I wanted to see if I can trim out a few of these guys here. That's my charge phase here, and the magic phase. I think I lose another guy or two to the dangerous terrain here. So I lost like 4 riders so far, and then I'm gonna be hitting with 15 spears, 16 spears. So yeah, I feel it, and I'm not too sure about the charge with the skinks here as well here, and about the cultists. So right now I'm feeling a little bit. I'm not too sure about how this match is gonna go. But I was like, even if I lost this combat here, it wouldn't hurt me too much, because I think if this flank here breaks through, then I think I'm in a good position. So I wasn't too worried about it. So you could argue maybe I shouldn't have charged, but the reason I wanted to charge was just because I thought it wouldn't be. I had one more rank than he had, and it was my turn, so I could boost them with some magic, and I thought this might be my chance to see if I could make a cheap breakthrough before he gets to summon more guys here. Because if I did take down this side here, right, then he would lose like this area of summoning, right? And if I could also take this one here, then the units could only pop off around here. I mean, then I'm definitely in a very strong position. So that was sort of the idea behind it. Whether or not it was too aggressive, I think it might have been. Anyway, things goes my way. This combat here, the imps, as expected, I popped the imps here in one turn, and I roll a 10 on the order run, and I managed. I shoot with these guys here first, so I managed to take the cultists down. I was shooting really well. I think I killed like 9 guys with these two. So I run into the cultist here, Only 10 guys left, right? So now the Taco guards here, they're starting to gain momentum, right? They are vulnerable to the flank charge here, but I thought, yeah, I'm steadfast here, and they will receive a flank charge here from the Saurian if they were to charge. Plus, he get -1 to wound from the my magical containing fields, and he will get a lot of charge here. So I was willing to take it. I was willing to take that risk. And I would also get a lot of combat resolution from killing these cultists here, right? So, and where else? What happened here? Yeah, the combat phase here. So my magic phase kind of crumbles. I for some reason decided I needed plus to hit on these guys here. So I wasted 2 dices on that. And then I used my regeneration. I had like, I think it was an 8-6 phase or something like that. And I used the first 2 dices to cast my bounce spell on these guys here. And then I used 3 dices to try and cast the regeneration. So now I used 5 dices, and he decided to try and stop regeneration with like all his dices. So now I have 3 dices left. So all I can really do is I can cast my boosted version of Word of Iron. Yeah, because he uses his binding scroll on my heretic spells as well. So I only have the Word of Iron here left here, which would leave these guys here with an armor 3 versus spears. So that leaves me with an armor 6 anyway. So I'm 6/6 up and save, which is still better than him, I think. So I mean, he has 16 attacks here. If you look at this combat, he has 16 attacks, right? I'm shield, I have parry, so hitting on force, that's 8 hits. And then there's 5 wounds. Yeah, approximately something like 5 wounds, right? Save on 6s, so I save 1 and I save another one. So he does 3 wounds, right? And I have 8 attacks, hitting on force. I do 2 wounds. It's very even, it's very dicey. And I mean, in my next turn where he loses his distraction, and I get he loses his spears. I was thinking this should be a decent matchup for me next time. Anyway, how does it go? So he's turn 2 here, right? He's turn 2 here. This is getting exciting. What's happening here? I forgot. Yeah. So he goes summoning crazy here, right? He's starting here. Be panicking a little bit because I'm breaching through here and here. So he's starting summoning some guys here to prepare some flanking attack on whatever these guys here or these guys here. And if you recall, my tactic was to try and stay away from these guys here as long as possible. And then he's summoning a blazing glaze in case that these temple guards here, they would wipe out this unit here and charge this unit here next turn, and he prepared for a flank charge here. Yeah, and magic, he flumbles all magic. He has some terrible magic all game. Oh yeah, he charges here as well. He charges this unit here, and he's parried weapons, right? And he's Kinslayer, so he's weapon skill 4. So he actually hits me on 3s with what, 15, with like 25 attacks. Let's run 5. That's gonna hurt a lot. The idea was sort of sure I'm gonna be steadfast. I have my BSB here, so I'm gonna take the damage here, and then I will hopefully be able to prepare this counter charge here. So the idea was after the combat phase, I would try and make sure that he couldn't scoop this way here, so these guys would be in the flank. But even if they didn't get the flank, if he decided, because he had to choose, right? It was his turn, so he had to choose who goes first with the reform. So if he chose me to go first, I would pull this way here, and if he chose to go first himself, he would go this way, then I would go this way anyway to make room for all of these 4 guys to hit him. So So I felt like if I didn't break here on the charge, then I would be in a good position to clean up for these guys here. Yeah, but as I said, he fumbles all magic, and I think he gets like distraction on these guys here. And I think I let it through because I didn't really think it was, because I already had the Rod of Battle on them, which meant I still hit on 4s, and he was crumbling, and I had these. Yeah, I think that was okay. Yeah, so let me just take a look here. Yeah, so this is the end of his turn, right? As you can see here, now things looks really dire for him. I managed to kill. I think he fumbled crazy. This match here, he killed four Saurian warriors. I mean, he had like what, 20 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's what, 13 hits or something. And then he has 25, so wounding on 3s. It should be 10 wounds. And then AP 2, so I'm saving on 6s. So it should be like 8.5 wounds, a bit more, something close to 9 wounds, right? And he dealt 4 wounds. That was pretty miserable. And I killed 4 of him as well, and he collapses. What's more important, this unit here collapses. So now I get the reform. It's my turn, and now I can choose where to go. And this unit here collapsed as well, so now I can choose to assist this unit here with something, or they can go off on their own right. And this unit here draws. So my turn 3 here, turning into my turn 3 here. These guys here, if I charge with these guys here somewhere, that's like, I think there's like 18 inches. This is like 18 inches, so he needs to roll a 12 to help these guys here. And if these guys charges out of range, I can actually hit his mage bunker down here with this unit here as well. So it's looking, as you can see here, after my turn 3 after charges, the game looks something like this, right? So I do lose some knights here, down here. I lose some knights, so it's only my lord, my veteran, take a veteran versus his guys down here. They don't have spears, but he have a champion, so I need to choose through the champion first. My Tego guards get into his possessed, 20 possessed here, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this through the army list here, the matchup here is just insanely good. I mean, I have 16 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, he's safe on 5s. That's a lot of wounds. That's a lot of wounds, and he has spears, right? So he has 15 attacks, hitting on 4s. 15 attacks, hitting on 4s, 7.5. And then he sprint 4 with -1 to wounds, wounding on 5s. So that's like 2 wounds, and I have 6 saves. So it's like, and then he has the symbolic giant demon here, which would do some wounds. But overall, an insanely tough matchup. And on top of that, I do get word of iron armor on these guys, so they're now down to 2 armor 2, 5 armor. So it's definitely pretty difficult to get through these guys. So this turn here goes something like, my turn 3 goes something like, I killed some possessed here, not a few, kill a few possessed here. He has I have a pretty bad turn here, and he rolls decently. No, but I killed with 9 attacks. I killed his damn symbiotic demon here, so which was good because he was the hardest hitting of this unit here, and he was also the one who had the innovation magic, so which could give him distraction, give him some buff spells, right? Plus he was worth 450 points. So kill him. Here it's a little bit, and I managed to get off 2 wounds on this this guy here, this Blazing Glory with, I think it was maybe my Cascade. I used Cascade here. And I got 2 wounds off of him, and these guys tried to shoot him as well, but I think they missed. But I got 2 wounds off of him, so now he's only offensive 6. So now my lord could potentially deal with him, right? And only 3 wounds, etc. So I could live here, but I was kind of prepared to sacrifice him and just say that maybe I die here, but then hopefully I can kill this guy here in his turn, and then these guys here can reform to look this way to prepare some card and charge on one of these 2 guys. In his turn here, he do more summoning. He summons Blazing Glory down here as well to prepare for the potential charge here. I'm not really sure why he plays that. Yeah, but the game here is the Skinks here. We decide it's another draw, and I decide to reform into a horde formation here just to get some of the last few attacks off, because the fight here just seems a bit over for me. So I just wanted to take as many down with me in the fall as possible. Plus he didn't have more summons, so I was kind of prepared to sacrifice this unit here. So yeah, what's going on here? Yeah, his turn here, nothing really happens. He doesn't get any good magic off. Yeah, he lost his innovation, so there's not a whole lot of good magic anymore. In combat, the combat went something like, as you can see here, the Blazing Beast here is completely gone. It dealt 1 wound to me, and I killed it. In all honesty, my opponent had some decently bad dice throughout the whole game. He missed a lot of magic, and he's possessed here with the red glaze here. They dealt, out of the 20 attacks, I think there was only like 6 hits, hitting on 3s, something like that. And my shooting was pretty good overall here, so you can anyway here. So we fight on here. Now I can get to hit his lord, and this is his turn, right? He managed to kill the Skinks here, but his turn here, he managed to kill the Skinks in his turn, right? And then my turn here, I charge in here. I move up the Skinks here, my low price Skinks here to try and shoot here, and then I have set up a shoot here, and then there's he needs an 12 to hit this one here. So the goal here is to kill this guy here. And this guy here, and my Tegerator, and he's in a position just to hit this guy here. So if he managed to overrun here, which is not possible because it's charged last turn. But anyway, I put in all my efforts to try and stop this guy here, at least wound him a little bit. And as you can see here, the things looks, I get Word of Iron up on these guys here, and yeah, this is my turn. End of my turn 4, and by his turn 4 he decided to it's time to flee, because I killed his unit. I killed his mage unit down here. I got the Blazing Glory off with my, I think my Skinks did 2 wounds to it, and my mage did 3 wounds to it, and the veteran gets charged here, and yeah. And the reason we play on here is because I'm 1 point. Right now the score is 19-1, and if I kill this unit here, it's gonna be a 20-1. And as we're playing the tournament game here, 20-0, this last point here might be important, right? It could be important. So we play it to the end, and I try and chase it, and it's not enough for me to get half. So I managed to kill the ritual down here. I shoot it with a lot of magic missiles, and everything crumbles. but I managed to kill the ritual guy here, and then my veteran here can charge. So he charges, and I think he had like what, 9 left or something when the veteran charges. I think I shoot 3 or 4 of them down with missiles, etc. I think he has like 9 after I charge. So I have to kill 9 in 2 turns of combat with my guy. And he crumbles, right? That should be possible, but I roll decently bad here. So I don't manage to kill him, and it's gonna be a 19 to 1, yeah. So this is the end score here. He got 670 points from me, and he killed the my Raptor Riders and the my Skinks, and that was it actually. And I killed everything apart from the bloating flies and the Eidolon's guys here. What's going on here? So that's the end of the game. That was the end of the game. It was interesting in the start. I think to leave some comments on the last, just to say some comments about the game. That I'm pretty happy about the tactic I set up before the game and how it developed into the game. I think there was a good linear line in my thought process into putting it into practice. I think my opponent also helped me a little bit, helped me to achieve it a little bit. Maybe I think I was maybe moving a little bit too far forward with his cultist, which sort of enabled me to succeed with my plan. But as mentioned, I think the Dawn Assault was definitely in my favor here, and capture the flags. I mean, like, he has 3 very delicious units here to capture the flags on. While I only have like I also have some pretty delicious units here. I have the Raptor Riders here, I have the Caimans, and I have the Skinks here. So there's at least 3 units which are decently should be possible to capture. In any case, it was a fun game, good game. I enjoyed it, and we did play 6 turns here, and what's more important is I got 19 points here in the 20 classing roundabout tournament here. And just take a look here, as you can see here, the ranking here. I'm not gonna do any bragging, but if you look at the number 1, you can actually see there's a guy called Alex Jürgensen, Windkiller, with 2 wins, 32 points. Yeah. So right now we're doing good. There's still a lot of people who haven't played the game yet, so I'm probably not going to be here by the end of the 3rd game. But in any case scenario, I'm going to be making sure to make another battle report on my 3rd and last game of the Cripple here. And as you can see here, we are still in the run to actually try and win the whole thing here, which is positive, since that would be a good result for me, since I never won this tournament before, or any other tournament for that matter. Yeah, this is peace out. Remember to follow me on the other channels here, and I'm thinking about some more stuff to come up with here. If anyone is still watching here to the end here, I think I want to try and revive the Wall Hall one-day tournament system here, and hopefully I will see some of you there. Peace out.